Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Top Girl Talk, hosted by yours truly, the Draw, Jackie Rodriguez, and I am joined by my lovely, lovely co-host, Miss Jamie Strange. How you doing, Jamie?
I'm good. How are you all tonight? It's exciting to be here again, as always.
Yes, we apologize for the slight delays in getting this happen. It was no. It's a mixture here. But it was important for us to get this episode out to you guys before the end of the month. Well, we could show the blame on this one.
It's okay. I'll take this. My computer's been super evil and it's been terrible. I had issues with streaming to myself, so I'm really excited that the computer was good to me today.
But we're back on now. We're back on and we're ready to go. We have a very special episode for you today. We decided to do something a little bit different and do a Q&A episode. So we had you guys submit your questions and we're ready to...
Which were really fun to answer, actually. I was looking through them and I'm like, these are some good questions.
Some of them were thinkers where I had to go in advance and go through and I'm like, shit, I don't know if I really have answers to this.
I had to go back on memory for a couple of them. I know one of them was what was your first ever live wrestling show? So I was like, oh yeah. I was like, oof, my brain.
I was like, go back into the archives.
Yep.
But before we do that, we are a part of the Elite POV streaming team, and this episode is available to you in advance for our lovely Patreon members. Yes, so that is one of the perks of being a Patreon. You get this episode 2 weeks in advance of everybody else.
Yeah, and if you're seeing this late, you should be a subscriber. What are you doing? Get with the times.
Get on it.
Come on.
For as little as $1 a month, man.
I know.
Where else are you going to get this content?
Nowhere. They're amazing.
So let's roll right into this then, and let's get into some of these questions, because some of these, like you said, were really good.
Yep.
We have a question here from CMS Calver, and he says, do you think the amount of women's matches will increase on Dynamite this year? I wish I had a crystal ball for that one. But Jamie, what do you think?
Yeah, because Dustin Rhodes actually recently did an interview where he mentioned that was one thing he was looking forward to. So,
Jamie Ross Sapp over here with the insider information again. I'm like, oh no, did he say that?
He did.
Oh my god. Well, I hope that's accurate, because I would really love to see more than one episode, more than one match per Dynamite.
Exactly.
Or a lot of times we get episodes of Dynamite where there's at least one needless squash match.
Yep.
Couldn't this time have been better used?
Yeah, exactly. There's been so many times where I've also thought that as well, where I'm just like, come on, use more ladies again. That or wouldn't it be wild just to see an all ladies card match though, just the whole night? I know it wouldn't happen, but I would like it to, ideally.
It could. I mean, obviously other places have done it before with some lukewarm success, but I think if it's done with the right level of investment and the right amount of talent, it can be done. So never say never. Hopeful.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Jamie, hit us with the next one.
So this is also from Calvert. He asked, do you think Marco Stunt will return? What do you think?
I mean, I don't anticipate him coming back. It looks like he's kind of invested in a lot of other projects right now. He tried out for The Voice. Dude can sing.
He can. That's the thing. Got a tiny but powerful voice, man. He's good.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him go further on that.
So why not? It's if he wants to get involved in other things aside from wrestling, good for him. I wish him success. Again, never say never. He could be back, but I just think maybe the focus is shifting a little bit outside of AEW.
Exactly.
So again, from Calvert, he says, out of all the current ROH and WWE releases, who do you see as the next ones to come to AEW?
See, for me, I don't have any answers for that one, because I'd like to see them actually just utilize the roster that they're not, of the people on the roster that they're not using right now more. There's so many people I'm like, why aren't they doing things like Sonny Kiss? I'd like to see Abaddon out there more. I'd like to see more Joey Janela and just so much more. Just
I am so team Sunny Kiss, like it's not even funny. Like I will shout it from the rooftops.
Exactly.
I just want to put it out there, AEW, if by chance you're a Patreon subscriber and you're listening to this, the next time y'all come to New Jersey and Sunny Kiss is not on the main Dynamite card, it is going to be like one woman riot, Sunny Kiss or we riot. But to answer that question, I just wanted to like, again, theoretical, but hopefully more women's talent. We had people like Tony Storm, Nixon Newell, Mia Yim, Kaya Valkyrie, just a lot of people with some veteran experience that could really contribute something to a growing women's roster. So I think that could be cool.
Yeah, that's true. So our next question also comes from last question from Calvert as well. It says, do you think Maria Canelos' new faction will invade AEW? Jackie, what are your thoughts?
First, I don't really think is it really new per se? I mean, I feel like some, form of this faction has existed in other companies. But if the last few years have proved anything, it's that door seems to always be left slightly open. And, I think it's possible.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, it just depends on what they want to do with other companies, really. Like, so I was, same.
I think as of right now, there are other companies that could greatly be benefited by having these guest appearances. Do I think that it's going to be groundbreaking for AEW if this kind of situation would happen? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I was
but I was about to say, but I've been wrong before.
Yeah, we all have.
All right. So Psycho Nagiri says, why do you think some people look down on women's wrestling and female wrestling fans? Ooh.
So I'm going to say it. I think that a lot of them are just older fans of the Divas era, and they don't want to see them as anything more. And as for female fans, that's just gatekeeping, toxic attitude.
Yeah, which is something, if you go back to episode 2, shameless plug, episode 2 of Talk Girl Talk, we do talk extensively about gatekeeping in the wrestling community. But I think that in this case, if something is historically booked as an afterthought, which for many, many years, women's wrestling was booked as an afterthought, then people kind of get this idea in their head that it's not relevant. Because if you don't treat something as important, people aren't going to view it as important. Sometimes you kind of have to plant the seed. And the moment you start taking things a little more seriously and you say like, hey, this is something you should be paying attention to, then people tend to like tune on in. But as for people looking down on women's wrestling fans, I think that for a long time, wrestling was treated kind of as a like a boys' club, if you will.
Yeah.
And so,
spot on.
Female, like women wrestling fans, I'm sure have always existed to a certain extent. But I think now it's like, as we're starting to become more prominent in the space, there are some people who don't quite know how to open their minds and be accepting of that. Once again, we are trying to facilitate growth in that area and just say like wrestling is for everyone.
Yep.
So either get with the program or get the hell out.
Pretty much.
I said it.
All right. So our next question comes from Brother POV.
Yeah, Brother POV.
Comes from Nathan, which I really loved this question, actually. I was telling Jackie this the other day. If you could create any mixed tag team, who would it be?
Oh man, I had a few of them. Like this was a fun one to kind of like play around with and think like,
exactly.
Give me the book and see who I can. So here's some of the tags that I thought of: Wardlow and Jade, Serena Deeb and Dax Harwood, Britt Baker and MJF, Layla Hirsch and Powerhouse Hobbs.
Oh my god, those are all amazing. That knocked me out of the water there, all right? Because I only thought of one, because literally like the first thing that just came to my mind is I want to see Danhausen and Abaddon, just because like I feel like she would stay so in character, just being like And then he'd just be like, oh, very scary, very evil. He's just the greatest, and I love him. So I would totally love to see that.
Full disclaimer, if Danhausen does pop up in AEW at some point down the road, somebody's gonna need to go to Jamie's house and resuscitate her, because I think that she'll freaking full on pass out at this point. So again, in the event that somebody at AEW is listening to this, hi, sign Danhausen.
Sign him. There. Got tongue-tied.
See, that's how tongue-tied. She's like flustered by the proposition.
I know. I'm just like, please, though, bring him. Just bring him on in. He's hilarious.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of the people on the roster seem to have like a good relationship with him. So hey, why not?
I did hear on the Jericho cruise that like he and Abaddon did have some pretty funny interactions, and I was just like, that's amazing.
Somebody's got to have footage of that.
I know. I was like, I wish I could have seen. I looked some up. I didn't see anything on YouTube. Hopefully, like maybe there's something somewhere. I hope
it'll pops up.
Eventually. Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, it better pop up.
So the next question comes from our boy Chris, Black Baymax 8. What match, either past or present, solidified your love for professional wrestling?
So for me, I feel like this is gonna be like easy. Jungle Boy winning the Casino Royale match, and the reaction he got though the whole match is what like pretty much made me fall in love with him. Kind of like I think that was like one of the first or second times I'd seen him and started watching like AEW, because Taylor had been watching it all along, and then like I just was like, I don't want to watch wrestling. I'm not gonna get back into it. Like I'm not getting back into it. Gets back into wrestling. Loves wrestling.
Yeah, it's like that relationship you just can't stop going back to.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna throw it like all the way back to like when I first realized like, oh my God, this is a love affair with pro wrestling that just isn't gonna end. And this is gonna sound like the most basic ass answer ever. And I'll say it till the day I die. Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart, WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man match. Back in the Blockbuster days when we used to go and rent our wrestling cassette tapes. We picked up the WrestleMania 12. Yeah, oh my God, that was the freaking best. Picked up the WrestleMania 12 tape, watched it more times than I could ever care to admit. And there's something about that match and the storytelling and the drama of it. I know it's got mixed reviews. Some people say for some reason that they find it boring because it's not like at 11 the whole hour, but how could you be?
Yeah.
But just it's such an incredible match. And I've tried so hard over the years to find a match that makes me feel the same way about pro wrestling. And it remains untouched all those years later. I think that was 1996. So whew. It's got a long streak behind it.
Yeah, it really does. That's a good one. See, you're knocking me out with these ladies.
I'm just a nerd. That's what it is.
Nah, there's no such thing as nerdy with us, okay? This is normal.
Yeah.
All right, our next question comes from Agent Silva. If you were in... Wait, did I go? Or was it your turn? Did you?
No. It's your turn.
Okay. Just making sure. I was like, wait, did I just cut her off?
We're on track.
Okay, just make sure I didn't take your thunder. If you were in talent relations, who would be on your top 5 women you'd want to bring into AEW? Sorry, took me a minute there.
So for this one, it's funny because it's like I think I came up with 4 out of the 5. But Holidead would be one. When the first time I ever saw Thunder Rosa wrestle, she was in a tag team with Holidead as the Twisted Sisters, and they were like they caught my eye, and they were somebody that like really stuck with me as being memorable. And I think that she would be a lot of fun to see in AEW. Mia Yim would be another one. Toni Storm and Taya Valkyrie would be one. But now that I'm like, okay, I know Tegan. I keep wanting to say Tegan Knox, but it's like, is it not Tegan Knox anymore? Is it Nixon Newell solely? But yeah, I really, like I said earlier on, it's just a lot of these like veteran talents that I think that AEW could utilize well, and they could teach the locker room a lot.
I like that answer. Those are all good. I didn't actually think of any of those, believe it or not. So I was just like, wow. I was like, she's good. So mine are number one being like, I want to mention Megan Bayne because I recently just found her through AEW Dark, and she was phenomenal. Like, she reminds me of like the next Britt Baker. Like, and she's also fighting Thunder Rosa tomorrow night at the event thing you're going to. So
Yes.
I just found that out, and I was just like, oh hey, I was like, that is awesome. So you should definitely watch that if you're able to. So I'd like to see her, the Inspiration, Jordan Grace.
Oh, hell yeah.
Deanna Parazzo, and Charlie Evans, I think, are like my top 5. Like, that was 5, right? Yeah.
I can't count.
No, I did. That's right.
Yeah, I guess like I hadn't even thought about it like that. I kind of my approach was for like people that are considered free agents, but yeah, like when you really open it up to like everybody, like if anybody could walk in the door, like some of the names that you mentioned are like
Jordan
really
Grace,
high
though,
up on those.
she's
Jordan Grace.
Oh my god, she's a beautiful woman and a buff woman, and like she could tear some people apart. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I love everything about her, and I like hate to use the word aesthetic, but the way that she presents herself is just not the norm, and I love that about her. It's just like she's just so powerful, and that's so appealing to me.
It is. It really is.
Yeah, she would be somebody. She would definitely be somebody I would want to see. Oh, wait a second. This is a familiar name. Our boy, Philium Elite. What's up, Phil?
Hey, Phil.
I see you sneaking into our questions.
Yeah.
So he says, what match gimmick would you like to see the women of AEW do next?
Last woman standing for me. That is just hands down.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first thing that came to my mind. And I was like, gosh, I would just love to see that so bad. Can you imagine just like a few of the ladies just like that they currently have right now in a last woman standing? Oh my goodness.
Every time that they have the opportunity to do something like on the edgier, more hardcore side of things, they always deliver in a really over and above way. So last woman standing, yeah, that would be a good one. See, I'm over here thinking of firsts and to do a women's casino ladder match the way that they do the men's casino ladder match. And
that was an idea I had actually too, so that's amazing. I'm glad you thought of that.
And a cage match, a good old fashioned cage match.
I did think of the casino because I was like, that would be kind of fun.
I'm like, I'm easy to please. Like, you don't have to like, do too much. But
exactly.
For me personally, like when I think of gimmick matches where it's like blah 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 on a freaking pole match, I'm like, it's like I don't really care. But it's like if it just comes to like different stipulations and getting, having a little bit of more free range with it, then that's kind of where my mind went.
All right. And our next question is from Sir Anderson 1. What is your favorite interaction you had with a pro wrestler?
Well, gee, I wonder. No, there are 2 answers to this. One, another shameless plug. If you go to youtube.com/ElitePOV, you can see my WrestleCade vlog where I met FTR, and you can. I don't even need to talk about it. You can go watch it. It was an incredible moment for me, and just like one of the best.
It's such a good
fan wrestler interactions ever.
Do you want to see Jackie not know how to pump gas? Please go watch it. It is the funniest.
Oh my god, I love that. Like aside from the meet and greet, that was everybody's number one takeaway. Is Jackie doesn't know how to pump gas.
I thought it was like a joke the whole time. I'm like, does she not know how to pump gas?
No, okay. Side note, I am born and raised in New Jersey. Here, we don't pump our own gas. We have gas attendants do this for us. And we didn't take a lot of road trips when I was growing up. So pumping gas was just never something that I had to do. But yes, go watch me try and somewhat fail to pump gas and, meeting FTR, of course. But another one of the most memorable interactions would be between me and Nyla Rose at Starrcade in 2019 around Full Gear. I won't go too much into detail. There's a little bit of personal notes to this, but my brother is a huge Nyla Rose fan, and I would just say that representation is super important. And I felt bad because I really wanted him to be there with me, but he had to work and he was running behind getting to Baltimore. So I told Nyla this, and I told her to sign the autograph to him. And when I told her the reason behind it, she says, "Pick up the phone now and call your brother." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Call him. Let's call him, and I'll talk to him." And so the phone rang and rang and rang, and finally, when he answered, I said, "I have somebody special with me." And Nyla Rose said hi to my brother, and you never heard screaming in the car.
That's
and he's
amazing.
like, "Oh my God, Nyla, I'm wearing your shirt right now." And to me, it was such a special moment, because she absolutely did not have to do that. And but she really went above and beyond to just do something that, me and my brother would never forget. So Team Nyla all day, every day.
Yeah, she's amazing, and she's the funniest person I've ever seen tweet out anything. Like, she just if I'm ever down and I like go through my Twitter, I just see something she'll write, and I just bust out laughing, and I'm like, "Thank you, I needed this. Thank you so much."
The Twitter ace for sure.
She is.
So, who's your favorite interaction, Jamie?
So, as some of you may know, like Phil, there's also on the Elite POV an interview with me that Phil did with me. Yep, shameless plug here that you can watch. I got to meet like 20 different wrestlers the morning. We stayed at the same hotel as the venue in Miami, and two of my favorites. See, I can't pick just one, because two of these were personally my favorite. Number one being Cody. Cody Rhodes is absolutely the most genuine human being in the whole world. He saw me and Taylor just sitting in the lobby, and like, I was staring at him, but I wasn't going to go up and bother him, because he had literally had his suitcase and was just coming in the door, and he just goes, "You guys want a picture?" No, I was like, "Yeah." Yes. And I was just like, "I just want to say hi too." And he just goes, "Hi," and then he takes a picture with us. And then a bunch of people start lining up behind us, and I was just like, and Taylor just goes, "That's all right though. Cody walked up to you." It was so funny.
He's not wrong.
And he was just so nice about it. And then like, he was in line with us too when we were buying food, and he bought like the person's food in front of him. It was the sweetest thing. Like, Cody is just literally genuine human being. And then I have to say my second one was talking with Adam Cole, because I love watching Adam Cole on Twitch as well. And he and I play a lot of the same games. So like, when I bumped into him, not only was I just like, "Hey, I love watching you on Twitch," he was just like so like amazed that I was a gamer too. And I was telling him how I've been playing Hollow Knight, that game that you watched me play a few times. I love that game. And I told him how I've just been so stuck, and he was like telling me he literally had to look up guides and try and like get better and things like that. And he's like, it's a tough game, and he was just so nice about it. And I love just talking to him. It was like just talking like one-on-one, like with a friend, honestly. Like, he was just so great.
He's so wholesome. He's the most like, I always call him the most wholesome heel on the planet. Like,
yep, he is.
Seems like such a sweet guy.
He is. He really, really is. If you even like say hi to him in his stream, he genuinely, like, even though he's got like a couple hundred people, he'll go back up his chat and say hi to you. Like, he'll take his time out of his day and like, finish saying hi to everybody in his chat. He's great. He's so great. I was going to his chats, Nyla's, like Brandon Cutler's, and like quite a few others, because I didn't know they all streamed, and I was just like, "Hey, people streaming! I love it."
I used to really like their Among Us streams when they used to do the Sunday Sus Day with the AEW team. that was a lot of fun.
Awesome. I love that stuff so much.
Question from our girl Carrie.
Ooh,
we always like who like. There's a few questions from her, so we'll kind of like alternate on these. First wrestling match you ever saw?
So I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember one of the first matches I ever saw was, I want to say, with The Rock, or that or Stone Cold. One of the two. Those were originally how like I first found out wrestling, things like that, and Shawn Michaels as well a little bit. But even though it was a little bit after, yeah. So yeah, first two, I'd say.
I couldn't think of the exact match either, but I knew it was the first episode of WWF at the time, SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So chances are it could have been something with Stone Cold and The Rock, because that was at their heyday.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, it has to be, but I can't put my finger on it because I was so little at the time.
I'm sure if I could have gone back into the archives of like Wikipedia or something like that and looked up what was the first match ever on WWF SmackDown, and I could have found it, but I'm lazy, so
fair.
That's what I went
fair.
with.
That's fair.
That's an admission. That's my confession here.
So one of Carrie's other questions are, what was it about wrestling that got you invested?
I think we talked about this previously, but honestly, like it's just the larger than life characters and the storytelling.
That's what it is for me.
It's something where it's like, I don't know, it's like it's very captivating. There's a lot of spectacle that goes on with it. And I always say that I was drawn to the storytelling and the characters first and then the matches after. And I think to this day that's still kind of my philosophy. Like I'll be drawn to like a wrestler's persona before anything with their
I think I could relate on that too as well. Actually, very much. Because and a lot of things got me invested to it. I just loved all of it, but the storytelling is what it was for me.
We're in sync there. So who is the first wrestler you remember being a fan of?
Shawn Michaels.
Like we're DX girls because Triple H was mine. Like I like that formation, I guess you could say, or of DX with Triple H, the New Age Outlaws, and X-Pac. Like that was my intro to pro wrestling. But there's something about Triple H. Like I love my heels. I love my like really chicken shit asshole heels. And so yeah, that him being the first person that grabbed me probably set the tone for everybody that I was a fan of afterwards.
Agreed. He sets up like your taste for like wrestling.
Yeah, I know, which is interesting because it's like if somebody's like that in real life, I probably will not interact with them and I'll probably not be able to stand them. But in the show, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. So how has your wrestling experience as a female wrestling fan changed from when you started watching till now?
Drastically. You know, back when I first started watching, I didn't really know other people that watched wrestling. And if I did meet people, they were always guys. Which is fine. You know, it's like it was something that we had in common. But as time progressed and, you know, social media comes into play and you start connecting with different people, I started being able to branch out and, you know, that sense of camaraderie, especially amongst women in the wrestling fandom, has really changed the way that I experience being a fan. So I think that's the most drastic change.
I would say that's the same thing for me, just because like I only ever like talk to just like all my guy friends about wrestling, and then I would say like if it wasn't for like Twitter and like just the whole general internet, you know, being able to like connect with other females across the way, like and finding like out like, hey, all these other like females also love the same thing I do. Like it's just been like incredible, like that. And luckily, I haven't had any negative experiences, so really also happy about that as well.
Yeah, coincidentally, I was going to say, coincidentally enough, I went to go get my coffee today, and there was a woman that was working at the cash register, and she's like, "I love your mask," and I completely forgot what the hell mask I had on my face because you know COVID. And then I realized I'm like, oh, I'm wearing my AEW mask, and then just instinctively, it's like stupid. I'm like, oh, or do you watch? Like, obviously, if she's complimenting the mask, chances are she watches the product. And she was like, yeah, I watch all the time. I'm like, oh my God, you exist out in the real world. Like,
you're like, can we be friends? Hi.
Like, can I give you my number in a totally not creepy way? But I just need other people that I know to like talk about this stuff with.
Amazing. I still love that story. I was reading that earlier and I loved it. I was just like, that is the most
Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man.
Yes. That gif always gets me.
Every single time. Oh my God. All right. So now like this is so you can see, like I'm so scatterbrained. Now I can't remember. Did I read the last question or did you?
It was you. So I think it's No, I read the last one, your turn.
My turn. Okay.
Yep.
Has your taste in which style of wrestling you like changed since you first started watching wrestling?
No, I would say I still watch a lot of like what I started watching except for WWE. Just not a really big supporter there anymore.
Yeah, I think like in terms of style of wrestling, back, when I first started, a lot of the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian and like the Dudleys, like a lot of that, tables, ladders, and chairs stuff. A lot of the high flying stuff was really popular.
Yep.
And I gravitated towards that and I loved it. Now I always preferred the technical submission style wrestling. That to me was just like there's a lot of thought and strategy behind it, and it always appealed to me in that sense. So the way that it's changed is, for one, it hasn't because I still really do prefer that technical submission style of wrestling. However, I will say that as I've gotten older, and I don't want to disclose my old age here, but now I feel
old.
I know, but I feel old in the sense that now every time somebody goes up to the top turnbuckle, I have a minor freaking heart attack. Like I'm always thinking somebody's gonna fall and hurt themselves. Somebody's gonna injure their neck. Somebody's gonna fall off the ring apron, getting from one side of the turnbuckle to the other. Sorry, Arn. Poor guy. But yeah, I see danger now, and so it's a little bit harder for me to really see people get busted open and they're bleeding and whatever.
Right?
Now I feel like the mom friend where I'm like, oh my god, somebody get him a towel.
A towel? Yeah, same. You're not alone there though.
Help him.
Oh my goodness. So our next question comes from Brother Wade. Hey Wade.
Yay, Wade.
If you were able to do a women's tag team tournament, name some or one tag team you'd like to see.
So I came up with one for this. There's a few, but one that stands out to me is Thunder Rosa and Ty Conti. I think that they would make a really interesting team, not just because they're two fierce Latinas, but their style is somewhat similar in some ways, and I just think that they could do some really cool stuff out there.
Okay, mine I guess are very basic because mine is like Tay and Jay, of course. And I wanted to see more Layla and Chris.
Ooh, yeah.
They're great together.
I just want to say I love Layla Hirsch so damn much.
I do too. I really do too. She's so tiny but powerful, and I love it. And I'm here for it. Yeah,
I'm like, she gives us shorter girls, something to aspire to, because I want to be that freaking badass too.
She's great. Just watching her live in the ring too. I'm just like, she's little, but man, does she pack a punch and oof.
So Big E Steins says, if you could book 1 week of AEW Dynamite, who would you choose to show up and what matches would you make?
All right. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first.
All right. So Lucha Brothers versus the House of Black.
Ooh.
Chris versus Britt. Cody versus Dustin. Jade versus Tay. And CM Punk versus Danielson.
Oh, damn. Give you the book.
I just really I had to think about those the other day when I wrote this question. And I was like, these are some I really have been wanting to see. So ideally, this is what I would do.
Yeah, you went all out, and you're really thinking about who's on the roster, who are you gonna book, and everything like that. So
I'm Tony Khan, okay?
Yeah, it's you're Tony Khan with a little black notebook, just sitting and scribbling your match ideas. I did not go that route, and I only picked one match, and it was a match that, as of right now, is one team isn't on the roster, so it's not like it's going to happen tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But fingers crossed. I've been only hoping and praying for this when the forbidden door opened to Impact. I thought we would get a little more than what we got. And I wanted to see Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, the Motor City Machine Guns, versus FTR. And I still want to see that damn match. And I want to see that.
Oh my gosh. We're putting this out there into the universe. Come on, Magic.
We're manifesting.
We are. Shipping manifest.
Yes, shipping manifest. Oh my god, freaking Ant. I can't say like, and you know what's the sad part is that I use the word manifesting so much, and now it's like I can't unthink it. So
Yep.
now every time I think about manifesting, I'm thinking of shipping.
That's me with Kermit, so it's okay.
You gotta tune into Jamie's Twitch streams for that. For that one.
You're missing out. That's for sure.
Oh my god! All right, you're up, girl.
All right, Bella Rose Poetess says.
Wait, this is sister POV.
This is sister POV. Okay, I didn't know this. Okay, so if you were a professional wrestler, what would your name and character traits be, and why?
So this is a fun one. So if any of you watch Kyle's eFed, there's a character in there that I created named Lola Sinclair.
Mm-hmm.
And she is entirely based off of what I thought my character was going to be, because once upon a time I swore to God that I was going to be a professional wrestler. That was going to be my job. So she is a total heel character, a bit of a harlot. And
I love it.
And she would have been a submission based wrestler.
Okay. Dig it. I was gonna say, like, this one was just like one I made up because like I ideally like really don't know, because like I used to be a backyard wrestler, which is like the weirdest thing, and I was a heel, so it was also really weird for me. But I think it was mainly because like I was so confident at being like just
being a jerk.
Yep. And I was just really disciplined at it as well. Like, and I don't know, like Britt Baker's just one of my favorites. So like, she's just like one of my role models there too. So I'm just like, I'd want to be just like her or Chris. It depends. I guess an alien dentist if we're sorry, just being honest.
You can be whatever you want. But no, it does go back to like what we were talking about with Adam Cole, where I was like, oh, he's the most wholesome heel ever. That would literally be you, because it's like outside of, that persona, it's like you're like one of the most friendly and like bubbly people ever.
And nobody wanted to do it
like that.
So that's why I was like, I'll do it. I was like, why not? I was like, it's just acting. Like,
I guess because people are not comfortable being disliked. You know what I mean? Like, people want to be like cheered for and admired, but it's like, no, boo me. I don't give a shit.
Exactly. I loved it. It was like it's an interesting feeling. Like, I liked it a lot.
I still can't get over the fact that you were a backyard wrestler taking freaking light tubes on trampolines.
I know, and I still think about it, and I'm like, man, I always think of like how I came home with like little cuts and like stuff, and I had to go to the hospital once for like a couple stitches and like stuff like that. But it was intense, but it was so fun. Like, I was young and dumb, I guess.
We all did it. All those "don't try it at home" ads just went right over our heads.
Because they make it look so fun when you hit each other with stuff too.
God, your poor parents, man. They're like,
my mom, I'd always be coming home. She'd just be like, she'd look at my dad and be like, she gets this from you. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You're like, no, I get this from sitting in front of the TV and watching a bunch of wrestling matches and thinking like, they make it look simple. I want to go and I want to go try that.
Exactly. Made it look
so Our last question comes from the In the Hot Seat podcast, and they want to know, what was the first wrestling event you ever went to?
So Taylor and I went to WrestleMania 33 in Orlando, April 2nd, 2017. I had to like look up the date because I honestly couldn't remember, even though I had a shirt in the closet that said the date on it. Because it was actually one of my very first shows. Like, Taylor and I had been watching wrestling for a really long time, since like we had been dating, married, whatever. And then I actually like, he was like, let's go to a show. So we went. It was like me, him, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, and stuff like that. And we all went, and it was like one of the most like great experiences of my life. Like, actually going to like a show. Like, I never wanted to like not like, all I ever wanted to do was go to shows after that. Like, it's just such a fun experience being there.
Yeah, and I think WrestleMania is like one of those things that you have to do it at least once as a wrestling fan. At least for those of us that grew up on WWF/WWE, it's like that's the dream. I went to WrestleMania 2029 here in Jersey back in 2013. But the first show that I had to go and do some digging to find out the exact date. So it was a WWE Raw back in 2005 at the Continental Airlines Arena, which is no longer exists here in Jersey. But I remember like I think the show closed out with Shawn Michaels on the Piper's Pit with Roddy Piper during his feud going into SummerSlam with Hulk Hogan. Yeah, and I'm like a huge Roddy Piper fan.
If you are, like, I know you have not watched this show, but there is one episode, a wrestling related episode on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where he was in it. It is the funniest fucking episode ever. And it's all about like them trying to like say wrestling's fake. And then they get in the ring with them, and it is just wild. You have to watch it. I'm not no spoilers. Those you have seen it know how funny it is, though.
All right, well, I'm gonna have to dig around for it because it was. I'm really glad that before he passed away, that I was able to at least see him in some capacity. And it was really cool that the first wrestling show that we ever went to, he was randomly on it.
Yeah, that's great. He's honestly amazing. I miss him now. Thank you.
I know. Yeah, it was it was rough when I found out that he passed, but he left it, an incredible mark on the world of professional wrestling.
Yes, he did.
So it's about that time. We're going to start wrapping things up, and we like to let the viewers know where they can find us on social media. So Jamie, let them know where they can find you on Twitter, Twitch.
You can find me on both Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, all at Miss Jamie Strange. Definitely follow, come hang out, check out one of the streams. Like she was saying, you can meet Kermit.
meet Kermit Wheeler.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend. Jamie's streams are always a lot of fun to watch, and the little community that she has going in her live chat are always a really fun group of people. So you owe it to yourself. So you can follow me on Twitter at LoveYouMake24, and you can follow me on Instagram at JacksTheDrawPOV. You can follow Elite POV, which is our lovely podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Elite POV and on Instagram at Elite POV and on TikTok, which is handled by, again, the lovely Miss Jamie Strange at Elite POV Clips.
Yep, I was going to just say clips at the end because in case you forgot. That's all.
No, I'm not Phil. I'll get it right. I love you. I love you, Phil. I promise. But yes, so those are where you can find the podcast. Please also check out ElitePOVmerch.com. Infinity.
Check out our shirts.
Gaming does some of the most amazing graphics, and
he does. Definitely grab one of them dope ass Pinnacle shirts, man. It's got all 6 of us on it. Yo, we look so cool. We look so good in that shirt. Like I'm just like, I love that. We still peak. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, you ain't wrong though. You can catch our podcast every week on Thursdays, twitch.tv/ElitePOV, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We now have Good Morning Elite, Saturdays at 10 a.m., which is our Rampage show. We have a lot going on over here at Elite POV. And you can find all this information that is contained in this episode, like I said, 2 weeks in advance. If you are an Elite POV Patreon. Patreon.com/Elite POV, baby. Get on that.
Exactly. Sign up. And we will be doing so many fun things, like in a couple weeks or maybe week. I don't remember exactly what date Ant said, but we are all going to be binge watching a little bit each episode each week of Heels, which we're really excited to do in the chat, and then possibly like discuss it afterwards a little bit here and there. And then we're also going to be doing like, I think, a community Fortnite thing, which also sounds really fun. So I'm really excited about that, you guys.
We have a lot of stuff going on. Elite POV is going to be your destination spot for all AEW related content. Over. I'm telling you, putting it out. I'm shipping, manifesting it right now.
We're shipping it on out right now.
Oh my God. Thank you all for submitting your questions to this Q&A episode. And until next time,
thank you guys for tuning in. Top girls out.
Out.